The mysterious overlord that is the YouTube algorithm has recently pushed some very worrying content my way. Just earlier today, I opened my YouTube homepage and I see this video. 4K transparent clothing in public, all caps of course, see-through try-on haul. When I saw this video, immediately the first thing that caught my eye was the thumbnail. I see a girl who is in public, who has little love heart PNGs censoring her nipples. I saw this video and one of the first things I thought was, why am I being recommended a clothing review video? A kind of video that I would never look up or watch ever on YouTube. So anyway, I click on the video to figure out what's going on here, and the first thing I see is this disclaimer. Warning! This video is a professional review of clothing made of mesh, lace, and other fabrics, and is not intended to be sexually gratifying. Some clothing is transparent, so viewer discretion is advised. Okay, continuing on in the video, immediately what I see shocks me. I am met with this. And keep in mind, this is going to be censored, because even though, by the way, this video is not age restricted, even though this isn't censored, and it's not age restricted, I have a very strange feeling that in the very near future, it will be. And in the interest of making sure this video isn't, I'm going to be censoring all of this because I think it's kind of ridiculous. What I'm seeing right now in front of me is a woman walking down the street in public with a selfie camera, wearing a, I guess they call it a sheer dress, which is a transparent dress. And she is very clearly wearing absolutely nothing underneath it. And continuing on, not too long into the video, it goes from that footage to this footage. What I'm seeing right now, what she is wearing, a pink see-through top, which is leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination. At this point in time in the video is when I'm starting to think back to that disclaimer that I saw earlier, that this is not supposed to be sexually gratifying content at all. I'm thinking to myself, okay, if it's not meant to be sexually gratifying content, if you really need to make this content, why must you wear this transparent dress with absolutely nothing underneath? Not even, I don't know, tape at the very least? You're going absolutely unclothed entirely under there, which if the purpose is just to review the clothing, why is that even necessary? The other thing is the audio in this video. If you're claiming this is not supposed to be sexually gratifying in any way, please tell me why you're playing this like romantic mellow music in the background, and you're very clearly intentionally making your voice on this voiceover as sexually suggestive as you could possibly make it.
I just love the way this one looks on me. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel.
After clicking through this video and just seeing exactly what was going on here, I started investigating a bit more, and I found out this video has 7.3 million views. Unage restricted, by the way, let me just point that out again. It was released 1 month ago, specifically March 19th, 2024, this video was released. And as I was looking through the description, what else did I notice? The first link in the description, uncut version at, and then she links her Patreon. Just below that, we have OnlyFans plus socials. But I feel like in my eyes, that only further solidifies the idea that this isn't intended to be just a clothing review. This is very clearly an ad for your OnlyFans. Let's say I want to buy one of these dresses. There's no links in the description for any of these dresses. All there is in your description is your Patreon and your OnlyFans. And hold on people, hold on just a moment there. This is just the beginning of a absolute humongous rabbit hole that I was about to jump into. The fact that this was allowed to be shown on YouTube unage restricted really piqued my interest. So I decided to have a look at some of the videos that were coming up in the recommended section underneath this video to see what other similar stuff, if any, exists. Because at this point I was kind of thinking, surely this is just like a weird anomaly that snuck through the gaps, right? Oh boy, was I absolutely incredibly, monumentally, completely wrong. And I found a YouTube channel. This YouTube channel, its entire purpose, its entire existence is to capitalize on this exact thing that I just showed you. The title of pretty much every video on this channel is 4K transparent, add in the name of the dress, try on. And these videos are getting some serious views. We're talking 9 million, 7 million, 5 million, millions of views. And I'm on an incognito window here, by the way, for a couple reasons. First of those being, I don't want to ruin my YouTube suggested videos algorithm thing with this garbage. And second of all, I want to be able to see which of these videos are age restricted and which aren't. Most of these popular ones here at the top with millions and millions of views are not age restricted at all. Let's have a look at this most popular one and see exactly what's going on here.
Today's try on haul is some really fun, transparent, mesh, sheer, baby dolls, and I have actually...
Here we go. Again, we have this disclaimer, just similar to what we saw in the other video. This video is a professional review of clothing, focusing on form and function. It is not intended for sexual gratification. This video may contain clothing items that are transparent, and as a result, certain body parts may be visible. Blah, 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 blah. We strive to maintain a respectful and tasteful approach to our content. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright people, viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. Let's dive in and see what's going on. Okay, so what I'm seeing in front of me right now is a completely nude woman. There's multiple dresses in this video. Here's one of the other ones. Again, you know, nipples completely out. The little bit of pink filter on top of it is not fooling anybody, okay. She goes on to show a bunch of dresses throughout the video, and they're all just as bad. You can see everything pretty much. Again, nothing left to the imagination. And at this point, by the time I figured out this channel was a thing, and just how blatant it all was, and how many views it all had, how much attention it all had, I was very surprised to see that absolutely nothing had been done about this, other than the occasional video being age restricted. Something else I'd also like to mention is right here. You can see in this video very clearly in the background. What does that pillow say on it? OnlyFans? Again, in this video description, you have all the links to the socials. You have Linktree, you have LinkMe, you've got the OnlyFans, the Instagram, the X account, the TikTok. But of course, the OnlyFans is always there in the forefront because that is what is most important. And I'm sorry, I can't get behind the idea that these are not intended to induce any sort of sexual gratification, but at the same time, you're immediately advertising OnlyFans at the front of everything so they can get your subscription on your OnlyFans and check you out on there. The idea that these people are reviewing this transparent clothing is just a mask that they're putting on to get past YouTube's policy on just how much nudity you can show on your video in certain situations. Here's another video. This one is a collab between the previous channel and some other channel. You see these two women standing there wearing absolutely nothing other than this 0.01 ply toilet paper and an OnlyFans pillow in the background, making sure that you know exactly what this is all about. I've had a look at the social blade for a few of these accounts, and as you can see, a very big spike in between January and May of 2024, which is when all this started, by the way. And by looking at a lot of these social blade pages, it's very clear to me that this is becoming, I guess, a meta on YouTube. It's still in its early stages, so not a lot of people know about it. In fact, I had a quick look before I started making this video to see if anyone else had made a similar video, just to get awareness on this happening. Couldn't find anything on it at all, so I figure even though the videos have lots of views, not enough people know about it for something to really happen here. Very similarly to what happened with Twitch, with the whole hot tub streaming, spa streaming, bikini streaming thing that happened, which was pretty much a cheat code way for them to get a crazy amount of views and a crazy amount of money out of just streaming in a bikini. I think that a similar thing is going to be happening here. When an exploit is found in the system like this, and this is a really bad one, by the way, like the extent that this one is happening, in my opinion, is on like a whole nother echelon, whole nother level above what was happening on Twitch. This is literal full frontal nudity that is occurring. I'd say in this case, YouTube is worse than Twitch. It's on a similar level to that of, I guess, Twitter and Instagram. If you're a person who enjoyed using Instagram for like meme pages and things like that, you probably have noticed that a lot of the meme pages ended up becoming just like sexually explicit showcases, showing girls in tight clothing and dancing and all that. You just want to see some memes, man. And I think it's to that level, but worse here. If you just look up transparent clothing on on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. And it claims to be, you know, educational clothing reviews. And then we get to the wet versus dry stuff. So this is a whole nother branch of this that I found. And what it is it's girls who find clothing that is transparent already. So, I mean, it's already just as bad as the other videos were in terms of that. But then they go into the shower and they claim that they are going to test the effects that water has on the fabric of the clothing they're wearing. And so then they proceed to get in the shower and completely drench themselves with water to the point where the clothing they're wearing is completely soaked. And if it was see-through before, let me tell you, now it's basically not even there. And yes, again, no age restriction. As you can see, I just clicked on this video. I was not prompted with any sort of sign in or anything. Let's just have a quick look at this disclaimer again. The primary goal of the video is to provide a professional comparison between the characteristics of clothing in dry and wet conditions, without any intent to evoke a sense of sexual gratification. Alright, let's suss the video out. So here she is, she's wearing the shirt, right? And now, as you can see, she is drenching herself in water in the shower. And by the time she's gotten to this point, like, cat's out of the bag, you can see it all. And no, I don't understand why it's necessary, first of all, for you to need to wear this shirt while you're drenching it. And if you really do need to wear it, let's benefit of the doubt. Let's say you need to be wearing the shirt to get the full effect. Why do you need to be wearing nothing underneath that shirt to hide, you know, the fact that your entire nipple is going to be showing by the time you drench the shirt? Continuing with the whole dry versus wet thing, there's another channel here that I've found that's doing the same thing. And again, here's our disclaimer, everybody. The core focus of this video is on professionally presenting the aesthetics and practicality of clothing, ensuring it's not to be sexually gratifying. Okay, fair enough. Let's go and watch the video. Okay, in this video, what she's wearing right now on this, again, unage restricted video on YouTube, imagine going outside, stripping completely naked, and then wrapping yourself in saran wrap or like the plastic wrap stuff you use for food. That's pretty much identical to what this is right here.
But how does it transform when wet? Let's find out.
Because we had to know how it transforms when wet. And again, just like, looking at this, can you really tell me this isn't supposed to be sexual in any way? Like any of that even matters anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, you're literally showing us your entire chest just bare on YouTube on an unage restricted video. This is fucking ridiculous. Again, I don't know if I've already mentioned it before, but something that was completely ridiculous to me is the fact that the thumbnails need to be censored, and they know this. They know what they're doing. No nipples in the thumbnails. But as soon as you click on the videos, there is no more censorship. All that censorship out the window. And all this stuff I'm showing to you is uploaded within the last 3 months. I haven't found a single thing that's been uploaded before that is to this same extent. So this is a fairly recent thing that nobody's talking about. This is obviously the result of a system that is broken, and a loophole has been found, and it is now being abused and exploited by lots of people. The reality is, these girls have been advertising OnlyFans on YouTube for a very long time now. Before this, it was, I'm guessing, mostly like yoga videos, things like that would advertise them. But I'm pretty sure all that stuff was fairly planted in the YouTube guidelines, and it wasn't super explicit. It's pretty much just as bad as what you'd find on like TikTok and whatnot. So I think if they want to advertise their OnlyFans on YouTube, that's fine. They should be able to do that if they want to, but they shouldn't be allowed to do it to this extent. They have this amazing opportunity to capitalize on this loophole right now, bring a lot of people to their OnlyFans and to grow their businesses. Can you really blame them for taking that opportunity while it's there? I mean, I guess you can in a way, but at the end of the day, it's really YouTube that we need to be looking at for moderating this sort of stuff. Again, the fact that some of these have like 7 million, 5 million, 9 million views is crazy. It's not like these are weird videos that are just buried under everything in YouTube and kind of hidden away. And trust me, there's a lot of garbage buried in the depths of low view, random, weird videos in YouTube, but that's a whole nother can of worms right there. On my search to try and figure out where this all started, I ran across this video. It actually came out 5 months ago, and yes, it is a Shein dress try-on haul, another transparent dress try-on haul, but this one's a bit different because in this one, the individual is actually covering up their nipples with some sort of tape and wearing underwear under the dress. And in my opinion, this is a much more reasonable way to be able to review this type of clothing on YouTube and to do it in a proper way. If you'd have come up to me a few days ago before I knew about any of this, and you told me that there were women on YouTube doing reviews of transparent clothing and wearing them and trying them on to show people how they fit and all that, I would automatically assume, okay, well if it's transparent clothing, then obviously they're wearing like a bra and some underwear and whatnot. That would just be a logical thing to assume, would it not? And it would seem, yes, this was the case before 3 months ago, where people were reviewing this and they were covering up, but I don't know what it was. Something happened somewhere in January, February of 2024, where all of a sudden they understood, actually guys, we don't need to wear tape on our nipples and underwear under these clothes. We can actually do these reviews completely nude underneath. And it doesn't take a very smart person to know that if you do something like this with no clothes underneath, your view count is going to skyrocket. Because at the end of the day, people aren't going to be coming here to see the quality of the fabric of the dress that you're wearing. They're here because they want to see nudity on YouTube. I feel like it's probably a good idea for us to actually go through YouTube's guidelines here and just see exactly what they entail and how this is finding its way through the gaps. So if we have a look here, this is YouTube's official nudity and sexual content policy. Here we go, what this policy means for you. It says here, if you're posting this content, explicit content that violates the policy could result in channel termination. And then down here we have some dot points. It says, don't post content on YouTube if it shows. Point 1. The depiction of clothed or unclothed genitals, breasts or buttocks that are meant for sexual gratification. Here we have this very, very, very important line, that are meant for sexual gratification. Because of this line, when these girls put in their disclaimers at the start of their videos, that this content is in fact not meant for sexual gratification and that it is a review of the clothing and the fabric, what they're doing is they are skirting right around this policy. And it seems to be working because most of these videos with this disclaimer are not age restricted, while the ones without the disclaimer are age restricted. And then here we have some other types of content that violate the policy. If we go down a few points, we have nudity or partial nudity that's meant for sexual gratification. Again, they put this part at the end that specifies it needs to be meant for sexual gratification, which means now we're talking about intent, the intent of the video. And the problem is that at face value, the intent of these videos is completely innocent. But I don't think you're fooling anyone. We see this and we know the true intent behind the content is actually that you're trying to advertise your OnlyFans or your Patreon or whatever it is that you're selling your nudes on. And let's be honest, even if we were living in a world right now where all this content I just showed you was actually completely age restricted, the truth is, even with the age restrictions, age gates don't work. They do almost nothing. When in the last 10 years has an age gate on adult content been any more than a minor inconvenience to a horny teenager looking to find pornography or lewd videos, whatever it may be online? You cannot sit there and seriously tell me that an age gate is going to stop someone from finding that stuff. But luckily for us, we don't need to speculate about that, because 99% of this stuff isn't age restricted. It's just there for you to see anyway. By the way, here's another unage restricted video with the disclaimer at the front of it. She's shaking her entire ass on the screen. Like, can we really argue that this is not meant to be sexually gratifying? Please tell me, look into my eyes and tell me that this is just a clothing review and nothing more. It just gets worse the more I look into it. This channel, for example, the profile picture on this channel is quite literally just a woman who is wearing a very transparent outfit. Now, if that's just the profile picture, I'm sure you can only imagine what is hidden inside of these videos. Yep, it definitely just gets worse. Quite literally, the camera is level height with the waist. The clothing that she's wearing is, look at this. I mean, I think I can uncensor this bit because it's not showing. As you can see, it's basically just fabric with a bunch of holes in it, and she is wearing nothing. She's not wearing underwear. She's not wearing a bra. She doesn't have pasties on her nipples. This is quite literally just all on screen. This is probably one of the age restricted ones, I would imagine. Oh no, never mind, it's not age restricted. So yeah, fantastic. If the worst one I've found is unage restricted, then that gives you an idea of how bad the problem really is. Is it not fair for me to say that there should be a red line drawn here, that there should be something more than just the face value intent that determines whether or not this is allowed? I think that, in my opinion, there needs to be a hard red line drawn at bare nipples and just bare meat curtains in your face. We don't need to see this stuff. Why can't you wear underwear underneath it? It is completely unnecessary for you to be entirely nude under that. Alright guys, I think I'm about done with the message I wanted to get across here. I honestly just wanted to raise some level of awareness, anything that I can manage. I know I'm not a very big channel. Chances are a lot of people won't see this video, and that's fine. I just want to try and do what I can because I think it's a pretty big problem. Maybe I'm just delusional. Maybe this isn't a big problem. Maybe I'm just out of my mind and I am making a fuss about something that isn't a problem at all. From the people I've spoken to about this issue, everyone seems to be on the same page. They think this is ridiculous. Everyone I've explained this to and shown this to, their immediate first reaction is, how is this allowed? How is this allowed on YouTube? So please, final message, if this video does end up getting out to anyone who can do something about this, please raise awareness, get YouTube to fix it, because I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think these girls are gonna stop doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. I think the reality of what really needs to happen here is we need YouTube's guidelines on nudity to start looking a lot closer to Twitch's guidelines on nudity. I'm not saying Twitch is perfect, but they have better, more specific guidelines than YouTube does. So here I am on the Twitch safety guidelines. We can see here under adult nudity, incomplete censoring, such as pixelization, mosaics, blurring effects, sheer or partially see-through clothing do not constitute an exemption to this policy, which makes sense. They shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to just go on Twitch and wear sheer or transparent dresses because they're still kind of covering you. And you might say, well, they're reviewing the clothing on YouTube. Yes, okay, but when you're reviewing the clothing, you don't need to be nude underneath it. You should be wearing underwear to cover all of those sensitive parts of the body when you're reviewing the clothing. You should, at the very minimum, you should need to have something covering your nipples and something covering your genitals. And I think it's crazy that I even need to rant about that because I think that's so common sense to me. Okay, anyway guys, I think I'm done ranting for now. I think I've done what I've wanted to do. I've addressed the issue. I've shown you what the issue is. I've shown you why I think it's wrong and how I think we should fix it. Or, well, we can't really fix it, but how I think YouTube should go about fixing it. And so now I guess I just leave it in the hands of a greater power to bring more awareness and attention to this. I'm sure that even without this video, this is inevitably going to get bigger, and eventually somebody with a lot of sway would have made a similar video to this about it. I'm really just making this in the hopes to push that whole process forward, to make it happen quicker, because this is really going to get out of hand really quick. It's already pretty out of hand, and I just think we should put a lid on it as soon as possible. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Leave your thoughts in the comments if you have any thoughts on this. If you think that I'm completely wrong, I'd love to hear how you think that is the case. And if you agree with me, please help me do something to push the message out there and help more people figure out about this, so we can get it stopped sooner. Anyway, guys, that's all from me for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one.